Bloody War number 4. What was supposed to be a regular monthly Bloody Roar Extreme tournament turned into one of the most memorable nights the scene had in a while. You might be asking yourself, Bloody War? Wasn't this always called Bloody Claw? Yes it was. But the name never felt cool enough to me. So while brainstorming a name for my offline tournament at War Guts in Tulsa, I recognized and realized War Guts, Bloody Roar, Roar sounds similar to war. What about Bloody War? But then I felt the name was just way too cool and would be perfect to replace Bloody Claw's name, which I never really quite liked that much. And starting with the 4th time Bloody Claw would happen, it would be called Bloody War. I'd host that one monthly and continue to do so with this. So it became Bloody War, and ultimately named the offline one Bloody Brawl, which I'll also talk about near the end of this video. We had some new energy this time. Random Nom finally got his first stream appearance, his or her first stream appearance after usually exiting early off cam. And Mike made his Bloody Roar debut on Shio, the Unborn. And Oily Elk, who's been coming to these for like ever, hopped on commentary for the first time, and immediately sounded like he's been doing it for years. Which makes some sense given he's been an editor of the wiki, which is like for guides of Bloody Roar.
Going B's, running up, doing some but blocks all the kicks. And nice catch with a strong mid with punishing whatever Traveler. And then tries to go meaty for PP before getting hit. Nice. Go into stance, return to neutral, and then gets hit with the sweep. Okay, this is some pretty strong Yu-Gi-Oh pressure, like going in and out. And Shio is trying to contest it, as you can see.
But the real story early on was Dava, a stun main, and a friend of mine. A few events ago, he was one of the weaker regulars. This time, he showed up after serious training, including a bunch of sets with me, and looked like a completely different player. Of course, during our sparring matches, I noticed the difference. He went from significantly weaker than most of us to beating me repeatedly. I was excited for him because I was prepared for him to become the hidden beast of Bloody War number 4. And it started off strong with his match here against Random Nom, doing absolutely wild moves to win his matches, doing what I would call the Dava special. He sacrificed health to go into Hyper Beast mode, and then dominates with either a Beast Drive or a Grab. Then later the night would get complicated. Imzadi showed up very late. The tournament ran almost 2 hours past the planned end time, and even that was an extension goal, so it was closer to 3 hours. People were tired, connections were getting tested, and we were getting exhausted with all the delays. Just keep that in mind for later. One match I want to highlight is my match with Shio. For context, in Bloody Claw number 2 and Bloody Claw number 3, I had a pattern. I usually was the one who threw Shio into the loser's bracket, but in both of those tournaments, I had found Shio to be my favorite person to fight in both of them, and that was for being really closely matched to me in them, but just ultimately losing to me just barely in both tournaments. It's just fun when you find someone who's almost your equal, you know what I mean? For this one, I considered using Alice against Shio, but I realized it wouldn't be worth the risk. It turns out lately it's been proven that I'm actually better with Yugo than I am with Alice, so I felt that without Dizzy here, I had a real chance at actually winning the tournament for once, because Dizzy wasn't able to make it due to a convention appearance he was going to or whatever. Normally, Shio plays as Jenny or Uriko, so this was a definite change of pace. I started the match with a lot of aggression against Shio, really pressing hard. It ultimately set the first match at 3 rounds for me, 0 Shio. This actually surprised me, as Shio was normally much closer matched to me. But I think that's not a knock on Shio, but actually highlighted how much I'd been practicing and getting better at the game. In the next match, Shio seemed to grow some confidence back and was punishing some of what I did, which got 1 round for Shio. But by the final round, it became clear that I had surpassed our old rivalry and solidified my position with a clear victory.
We're on the back end. It's going to take a lot for Shio to get back in, but okay, we're choosing to get some hits, disengaging, and we got a nice whip punch. Marble's got a lot of... Okay, good call out with the 236B. We're getting some health back, you know, wasting some time. You know, getting the clock down. Might go for a timeout if we can get enough health. Oh, those hypers.
Next, we had top 4. We had Shio versus Imzadi. Imzadi had been thrown into losers by Dava, which was a huge upset. For clarification, Imzadi in Bloody Claw number 3 had easily swept all of us and got into second place, losing only to Dizzy. Imzadi's skill level wasn't necessarily that much higher than mine, but he was good at exploiting my lack of matchup knowledge against Koryu, and that had secured him a win. That was a tactic that in this tournament he used against Dava as well, but ultimately Dava knocked him into the losers bracket all the same. The guy who was most likely to win this tournament knocked into losers bracket by the guy who was once considered one of our weakest players, showing true strength for Dava. In any case, now we had Imzadi versus Shio, and Shio tried a lot of things, but ultimately the gap was simply too large. Shio was losing. Again, and again, and again. There was real promise there, but it didn't hold up in the end. And that delay I mentioned earlier, that frustration boiled over in top 4 with Shio, who ultimately, salty about the delay, rage quit on the final round of their losing match against Imzadi. An awkward moment for everyone involved. Shio apologized later. We then had myself versus Dava for the winners finals. I started out really strong against Dava, but as Dava had been proving throughout this tournament, he was completely wild with his comebacks. He went for 2 grabs and a beast drive, taking the first round. Second round was a blowout, as I annihilated him for that round, securing 1 more on the board for me in that first match.
Iron Man cartoon, where it was kind of like 3D, but not.
I think so?
Like, that's the kind of graphics that I'm getting on my end.
Ah, I see. So Traveler's got Dava in the corner, just blocking. Both go for Beast, trying to get out of the situation.
There we go. He put the pressure
on.
on.
A little lame.
Unfortunately, my situation would go very poorly for the remainder of that match, showing clear as day that Dava was the winner of that one. The second match was neck and neck. It was anybody's game. I'd win a round. He win a round. Back and forth like mad.
It gets the health back. Misses the punish. Goes for the command throw! Okay, nice. Very strong.
I thought that was going to be matched.
With punish, there's like so few walls.
There are more. There's more opening than there is wall.
And gets mashed
and
on.
Oh, he gets mashed on. Look at that. A good comeback for Traveler.
1-1 both players. But it works! And does he get the ring out? No, he doesn't. But he gets a bunch of damage. Oh!
There it is.
It gets called out by the
beast
transformation. Okay, on the offensive is weaving around.
Look like Hugo was just floating in the ether for a moment.
Making us down to our final match, as top 4 is best 3 out of 5. But ultimately, that final match would be a complete blowout, solidifying Dava as the winner and knocking me down to losers finals. I'll skip the specifics on losers finals, just showing you a few key moments here, but it boils down to that Imzadi beat me. Then going
side swap, those beasts to get him off, but gets hit and gets into the reset after the launcher. Get turned around. Little rough, doesn't block it, gets hit by the armor. Oh, gets it low, gets it for himself. And this. Oh, but goes for something very risky instead of a nice 4B. Oh, this is really close. And gets whiff punished, but isn't out yet. Gets it by the bees. A good 4B could make it. Tries to get the 4B, but doesn't hit it. It doesn't go to hyper. And, oh, I'm out. Second round. Keep them away from their good attacks and good moves. Is getting hit in, and it looks like this might go to Imzadi. Oh, a good call out. tries going for it again, but the Beast stops it. Doesn't recover properly, but it's fine. Gets swiped with the low, and disengages. Oh, calls out the super low, but is behind. Disengages, and tries to lift punish. Goes for it, doesn't OTG. Almost
Going into grand finals, the stage was set. The rematch of Imzadi versus Dava. At this point, it had run so late that I was extremely sleepy, so I let Oily mostly take over for commentary on the grand finals. Here's some key moments from that one.
Calls out, running punch again, keeps going for it, laying it on thick. With punishes the jump with AP, runs again, and he's gonna do it again. Okay. Back to neutral. Both players just staring at each other and just does it, just runs straight at him, knocking him out. Let's see. Dava trying to go for the ring out strategy again. Oh!
Nice! Very nice.
Yeah, that if that person is like not mashing and blocking and gets hit by that, and there's no wall there, just boom, instant wins.
Yeah.
Evening out the game a lot with these high-risk maneuvers, but they're working. And calls it out, hits it, goes for it again, just spending hyper like crazy. Gets the punish, is doing the string, gets a nice, meaty combo. All true, I'm pretty sure, given the amount of hit stun gets and hyper. Whispered again, and he's moving around. Punches out of the teleport, punches again, keeps going for it. Hit by the wake up, tries to go for another ring out option, but the beast form pushing these buttons to move across 3D, then maybe he could reposition it a little bit better, but doesn't matter, just straight going for it, getting the ring out. Okay, anyone's game now.
Yeah, it is. But the problem is, bear in mind that Imzadi's in the lead, so Stun's really got to win this one. Otherwise, he's out.
Stun's got to win this one, and then the next two, otherwise it's over. But just hyper aggro. Oh, blocks the
point was
finally
if he
the
doesn't
back
win
throw.
this round, he's out of the tournament already.
Yeah. Okay, things are looking up for Dava. Oh, gets hit when trying to whip punish. Hits it low. His swipe is not a heavy guarding or evading the final attack.
Ooh, you gotta duck and block. You can't just block. Yeah.
Ooh, this puts him in a really rough position, but has Beast, which can help get the health back, gets the whip punish, gets a bunch of health back, and is able to deal big damage.
Very big damage. Yeah.
Okay, things are looking good. 4P gets the heavy guard. Oh,
risky.
He's able to play position. Oh, that's really risky. Isn't turning around in time, and
Now, based on how late everything ran, Grand Finals Reset had to be played the next evening. By then, I was well rested enough to take over commentary myself. Plus, Oily was not able to make it anyways. Now, looks like in this situation, a lot of tackles, and there it is, exactly what I thought would happen. He's got to be careful though, because with that, as you see here, Imzadi punished it, getting a little too predictable. You gotta be careful and mix it up now and then. Good move on the grapple, causing his predictability to trick him into blocking, and then did the grapple. That's one way to condition your opponent. Looks like we got some grapples going from Koru as well, though. Showing that he's definitely not going to let him win this round easy if he does at all. And still gets the round. Showing that Dava is not out yet with this match. Not a bad string, even mixed up the low, but unfortunately that gave him a back turn situation. And Stun is, of course, trying to take advantage. Oh, he used the Hyper Beast to prevent the Beast Drive from taking him out. Question is, are we going to see the Comeback King? Oh, there it is! Like I said, the Comeback King. Now we're going to see what happens. That's something that our resident Stun player Dava really likes to do, is take advantage of that Hyper Beast mode. A lot of players don't. I know I tend to not. Oh, another ring out. Dava came out swinging and went up 2-0. For a second, I thought it looked like the glow-up was about to become a championship win for Dava. Then Imzadi flipped the switch. Very close match. Very intense. Lots of hype. Oh, but misses it. He's got to be careful. Right now, this is a very close situation. It could go either way, but there it is. He's got to remember, he's got a low block. You do not just standing block it. You got to low block it. And then Koru shows he is still on the board. But Koru is saying, no, I'm not going to make this easy for you. Whether I win or lose, this is not going to be easy. And if possible, turn this whole round around, especially with that beast drive. That stun is, Dava is just not blocking it. He's got to remember to low block that. 3 games in a row, the Comeback King took the set and the tournament. So as you can clearly tell, I ended up taking 3rd. Solid result, but the night was bigger than any single placement. We saw a regular finally got their stream debut, a new jump in, a longtime attendee crush it on commentary, a real underdog run, and a reminder that online tournaments still live and die by people actually showing up on time. Because of the delays, we instituted new rules going forward. Full software, hardware, and connection checks an hour before start, and when a match is called, you've got 5 minutes to appear, and if you miss it, you lose a game. Miss another 5, you're gonna get DQ or go into losers, case-by-case basis. Now, for Bloody Brawl, what I would ultimately say with that one was, it was difficult to get people interested in Bloody Roar tournaments at all, as I had shown up at casuals for 3 times, and that didn't really work out that well. So what I did was, I decided to start doing tournaments and offer financial incentives. Future tournaments have a pot prize. One is going to be 350 pot, which will be 200 for first place, 100 for second place, and 50 for third place. And I'm going to do more monthly tournaments like that for Bloody Brawl at War Guts. I'm also going to have, at King of the Sticks later in November, a $1,000 pot prize. But in the meantime, I did this first tournament by just bribing everybody with 20 bucks to play the tournament at all, just to kind of get tournament footage. It actually worked somewhat well. I had a few people who had been playing casuals a little bit with me, but your boy was a really good player too, and I was surprised. He came out with a Jenny main, and we had a pretty decent match, and it went neck and neck, but really, I would say the difference was still that he was still too new, and I ultimately won against his Jenny. And then I also had a surprise person, Tim Barnes, who I think used to be called Anime Freak or something like that, I think, but now his name was called This Game Sucks, which really made commentary weird. But either way, when that guy came on today, he was the one who would ultimately win. Now, when I went against Tim, who used Uriko, it was a bit of an interesting match, especially given that Tim was not that familiar with Bloody Roar, but had, trained a bit the few days before. So we ultimately fought, and in the end, Tim beat me with his Uriko, which really was an upset for me, as I thought that I had it in the bag with this tournament and would win against everybody easily. But Tim actually showed his skill, which is actually something that's been a reoccurring thing. Apparently Tim is considered one of the better players at any game he picks up, whether it's Soul Calibur, Tekken, Street Fighter, whatever. He picks up a game, he immediately picks up on it and gets really good. So in the end, he won Bloody Brawl number 1, showing that now I have a local scene starting with Bloody Roar here too. Started by me, ran by me, and of course I compete in it myself, but showing, like I had said on stream for that one, I'm very beatable and defeatable. And of course, showing that I definitely need to do some more training. In the end, that's how Bloody Roar went, with Bloody Roar number 4 and Bloody Brawl number 1. Either way, I hope to see you all again soon. Bye-bye!